There are gurus who are liberated. There's those who are not liberated. There are different types of spiritual masters. One who connects us to the disciplic succession, one who gives us relevant instructions. And also Prabhupada very strongly in one of his statements says, by 1975 he wants all of his disciples to become guru and have the title Bhaktivedanta. So Prabhupada, he said that is the need. There are so much that is needed in order to spread Krishna consciousness, so we want more and more persons taking up the role of making their service bringing others to Krishna consciousness. It's called guru, but it can be done in a less formal way, that one simply understands that this is a movement of Lord Chaitanya to purify the whole world, and therefore he's very eager to spread his mercy, and he needs mercy givers to take the mercy and spread it everywhere. Lord Chaitanya says, I am a gardener. This is from Chaitanya Charitamrita. He says, I am a gardener, and I have within, he's my friend. See, he just, You want to say something? No, he doesn't want to speak yet. He's taking Moni Baba. So he said, I am a gardener, and I have a storehouse full of very sweet fruit. And I'm tasting this fruit, and I'm feeling very happy and satisfied by tasting this fruit. But I want to share this fruit with everyone. But how can I do it? I'm only one person. So please help me. So he's asking. This is in the Chaitanya Charitamrita in the 9th chapter of Adi Lila, where he says, please help me distribute this mercy to all the conditioned souls. But Prabhupada made that point in our yesterday discussion, to take up the responsibility of helping others become Krishna conscious. And I'll tell you a secret, which is not a secret. You help yourself. If you try to help yourself, you won't do good. You'll fail. If you help others, you'll help yourself. That is actually how Krishna consciousness actually develops. Those who make others their focus will actually grow in their own Krishna consciousness. That's the underlying principle that is obvious, but not always so visible. Okay, so this is lesson number 2. So now we understood what is guru, the position of the guru, why the guru is accepting worship. Now we go to the next one. This is called the founder Acharya principle. So what is unusual, or you might say unique, maybe that's the better word, about founder Acharya? Give me a little understanding of that statement and point out the unusuality of the statement. Can anybody? So what does founder Acharya actually mean? Who knows?
He starts the discipline. He starts the new, parampara.
Yeah, he's the most prominent person within the parampara. Yeah. He actually, we'll get into the actual definition in this lesson. But he's unique. There's no one else that could take his position. But there are many founder acharyas. But within one tradition, or one spiritual movement, there's only one. What's unusual about the name founder acharya? It's obvious. Just look at the words. Huh?
It's the foundation.
The word founder and acharya. One is Sanskrit and one's English. Yeah, that's the founder is obviously English. Okay. Okay. So, who's that on the left? Vyasadeva. And who's that? Huh? Would you say? Yeah, that's Madhavacharya. Okay, so we'll go to the next slide. Okay, here, who's going to read? We need somebody to read.
Although,
Nice, and we need a microphone.
Okay.
Whoever's going to read.
Hare Krishna. Although Sri Madhavacharya accepted Diksha and Sannyas from one Achyut Praksha Swami, since Madhav received the most Siksha from Sri Vyasadeva, Sri Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur listed Madhav as Vyasa's disciple in the Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya.
So, following that theme that we were discussing yesterday, so it's not always necessary that we have a Diksha line. There's also Shiksha line. So for Madhvacharya, he became more developed in his spiritual life from Vyasadeva, although he accepted Diksha and Sannyas from Achyuta Praksha. Well, here's an example. Okay. Who are they? Okay, we got that one. Someone read? Nice and loud.
An organizational seat, circa 1545. Lord Chaitanya's chief disciples, the six Goswamis of Vrindavana, founded the Vishva Vaishnava Raj Sabha, which Srila Bhakti Siddhanta later identified as the gathering or congregation of devotees who worship the king of all Vaishnavas in the world, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
So this is the organizational seed of the foundation for our movement. It was started by, we are disciples of the six Goswamis who are disciples of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So we get all of our knowledge and practice from the teachings of the six Goswamis, especially which Goswami? Rupa Goswami. We are called what? Rupanugas, followers of Rupa Goswami. And of course, the other five Goswamis also wrote books and were also foundation in giving us transcendental knowledge in the practice of Krishna consciousness. So, out of all of the teachings, we follow Lord Chaitanya's teachings, who he disseminated the knowledge that he wanted to give to the world through the six Goswamis who wrote hundreds and hundreds, thousands and hundreds and thousands of verses and hundreds of books. So the works of the Goswamis are the foundation for everything we perform in devotional service on all levels of bhakti. Not just in the beginning stages, but all the way up to the highest stage of bhakti, prema bhakti. So, okay, and the next slide will sort of indicate this principle even more. So here we have is Rupa Goswami, I believe, yes. Okay, and here you go.
A philosophical.
Nice and loud.
A philosophical seed. In his Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Srila Rupa Goswami identified the fourth principle of devotional service as Sadhu Vatmanu Vratanam, which Srila Prabhupada later translated in the Nectar of Devotion as following in the footsteps of great Acharyas, teachers, under the direction of a spiritual master.
Yeah. So this is important to understand. Not just having the literature, but following the knowledge that is given in that literature by hearing from those who represent that transcendental knowledge. Okay? This is called the philosophical seed. Okay. Okay. And earlier, Nectar Dosha in our mental, we should also try to think of Krishna and try to please him, following in the footsteps of the great Acharyas. So this is the principle of here. Following in the footsteps means to take the knowledge that they give, learn it, and learn how to apply it. So application is actually the second step for the understanding of the knowledge. First is reading, hearing, of course, and then second, based on your hearing, you have to understand. And then how do we understand when we don't understand?
We ask questions.
Yeah, we ask questions. When we ask questions, and then when the understanding becomes more clear and complete, and then how to apply that in our life. And through the application, what is the next stage? We get realization, we get understanding. It becomes part of you. The knowledge is no longer theoretical or something that you're learning, it is actually something you're living, as opposed to something you're learning. So we start with learning, and then we end with living. We live that knowledge. Okay. As a child may see his parents and relatives at first, then matures to see them in a perspective, so a disciple may initially see the spiritual parents and relatives as everything, then matures to understand in relationship to the great Acharyas. So first we understand our relationship with Krishna through our Guru, but then that knowledge extends our consciousness into understanding of behind that. There's a whole line of great Acharyas, teachers, that had set the stage for our present spiritual master. And then the knowledge that they give also will be supportive in the following the instructions and guidance of our spiritual master. To help us understand the philosophical seed, we will now hear from Acharya Sampradaya culture. Okay? So this is the next one. Everyone follow so far? It's easy. Okay. Okay, who are the three personalities? Who's that?
Narottam Das.
That's Narottam Das Thakur. And
Shyamananda Pandit.
Sanatan
who's this, the one in the middle?
Sanatan Goswami.
This is Raghunath Das Goswami. This is Sanatan, I think, because there's Radharani there.
Yeah.
Who is that?
No, that is Rupa Goswami.
That's Rupa Goswami.
He bought the kheer.
Yeah, Rupa Goswami. She's bringing, so he can cook. And here we are.
That's Sanatan.
That's Sanatan Goswami. Yeah. So these three are prominent acharyas in establishing the philosophy and practice of Krishna consciousness, which our acharyas who are present today we get this knowledge from them. And of course, Srila Prabhupada is the embodiment of that knowledge. But particularly, Rupa Goswami. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Nectar Devotion, which is the science of bhakti. By hearing and reading and understanding, Prabhupada used to say, read it once, read it twice, read it thrice. And that was Nectar Devotion. And he said that is the handbook on how to execute devotional service. When you learn Nectar Devotion, which is a great study, then you can understand how bhakti works, and what to avoid. And because the principle of success in bhakti is two: accepting favorable, rejecting unfavorable. My experience with devotees, they know what to do, but they don't know what not to do. This is my experience. They're good at learning what to do, but somehow bad habits, old ways, conditioned nature brings about wrong activities. And then that waters down, or even sometimes obliterates, the success we have in performing those things that are favorable. So we should be very careful to understand these two principles. One is called anukulena, favorable, and the other one is called pratikulena, or unfavorable, like that. Sanatana Goswami gives the understanding of both in describing what are these principles by which a devotee follows in the mood of surrendering to the Lord. He mentions these two as foremost. Okay, so this is the cultural seat. Okay, who's that? Bhakti Vinod Thakur. And he is the what seed? Literary. Okay. Okay. Someone want to read?
However, the Adya Acharya, or original guru of a disciple, line is appropriately worshipped and respected as the Guru Shiromani, the topmost crown jewel of the spiritual master.
Topmost crown jewel of the spiritual masters.
His perfect philosophical conclusions are to be followed by all in his succession. Any contrary instruction will not be accepted.
Yeah. So the Guru Shiromani, or the Adya Acharya, the original Govinda-disciplic succession, sets the foundation, and he establishes the principles by which everyone worships the Supreme Lord. You'll see there are persons who are also Vaishnavas, but they don't worship exactly like we do, those in other sampradayas, but they're also Vaishnavas. So you can't mix and kind of blend in the different principles and say it's all Vaishnava, and therefore I can follow whatever is convenient or whatever I want to. One has to follow in their line. And you'll see the point, it'll come up in this discussion also. I think it's coming up very soon. Okay, so what is that we're seeing there? Yeah, he established, what is it called? What was the harmonious?
It was a newspaper.
It was a newspaper. This is the cover of, it was more like a pamphlet, and this is the cover of the first issue. And in this first issue, they describe, okay, someone read?
The Gaudiya Math is also identical with its founder Acharya, the associates. Followers and board of his divine grace are limbs of himself.
Okay, hold it. So the Gaudiya Math, or the institution, is identical with the founder Acharya. Sometimes we say Prabhupada is ISKCON. So by following the principles that is laid down by Srila Prabhupada that govern the activities and philosophy of ISKCON, that we are actually connecting with the founder Acharya. And anything contrary, as I mentioned previously, has to be rejected.
None of these claim to be anything but a fully subordinate limb of this single
None of them
individual.
claim to be anything but a fully subordinate limb of the single individual back to the founder Acharya. Everything is connected to the founder Acharya, yes.
This unconditional, causeless, spontaneous submission to the head is found to be not only compatible with, but absolutely necessary for the fullness, freedom of initiative of the subordinate limbs.
Yeah, so people say, well, what Prabhupada established in 1960s and 70s, it's not relevant today because, times have changed. So what would you say to that?
Nonsense.
And then what would you say after that?
This is a parampara that the established body of the genuine bona fide Acharya is non-different from himself.
Mhm.
And therefore his instructions are to be taken as, infallible.
But then people will say, well, times have changed and people have changed, so, we need to reinterpret it.
No reinterpretation is possible. Adaptation to the time, place, circumstance and candidate is possible, but the essence remains the same.
So what is the principle that is changeable and what is the principle that's not changeable?
The regulative principles are non-changeable. The principles by which we carry out devotional service don't change, but the methods for propagation and implementation of the mission may change according to the circumstances.
According to time, place, and circumstance. In other words, you may preach to one group of people who are family people, and you might preach to another group who are brahmacharis. So you may preach differently, but you keep the same principles in terms of the philosophy, but you present it in the way that is relevant to those you are preaching with. That would be an example.
Details can be changed. Details can be changed, but principles can't. Details can be changed, but principles
Yeah, we discussed that yesterday, the difference between a detail and a principle. So, Amritanam was saying, details are changeable, but who can change the details? Can anybody change the details?
Acharyas.
The Acharyas can change the details, or those who are in charge of those who represent the Acharyas, or those who are actually Acharyas. But mostly it's the Acharyas. And principles are,
Fundamental.
what's the word, what would you use the word if you had to say principles are? Unchangeable. That's good, but what would be another word?
Foundational.
That's it, foundational.
Fundamental.
They set the foundation for everything else. Yeah, okay. Yes?
Maharaj, you said that acharyas generally change they change the details.
Can.
They can do. Yesterday we spoke about instructing spiritual masters and initiating spiritual masters, but they can also guide devotees and change principles as well, right?
Well, when you guide a devotee, just for instance, say you have a spiritual master who preaches in one area of the world, but you're in another area of the world. So you sort of adopt a Siksha guru to help you in understanding your own practice that is given to you by your spiritual master. So, but he's teaching you, in a different area. So he may also adjust certain things so you can understand what your spiritual master has been giving you. Because a lot of times people cannot understand, so you have to use examples, you use analogies, especially analogies. And Prabhupada used a lot of analogies in trying to describe foundational philosophical teachings by using analogies. Just like Krishna is like the sun, and the sun also has sunshine, so Krishna's energy is like the shine of the sun. So the sun and the sunshine are not separate, so Krishna's energies are not separate also. But they appear to be separate, just like the sunshine is separate from the sun, because when the sunshine comes into your room, it's not like the sun's in your room. There'd be no room. You'd be finished. But at the same time, the sun is in your room, so the energy of the Lord, in one sense, is non-different. but at the same time it's also different. So analogies help to bring out philosophical teachings, which makes everything clear. You see, Bhagavatam is full, even the verses of analogies, especially when they describe Krishna. They use material analogies to describe his qualities, his transcendental beauty, his way of dealing with devotees. Analogy is, so in preaching to those who may be a distance from the spiritual master, may use examples to bring out the same points. But that's not changing, that's just enhancing, that's all. Yeah.
You spoke about Acharyas, and so Prabhupada made a GBC, so you spoke about Acharyas.
Right.
So Prabhupada made GBC, so GBC can change details.
GBC is the ultimate managing authority. They're managers. The philosophy has already been given to us. They're not creating anything new. They're simply learning how to organize the activities within the society, or giving that direction like that. But they also talk about philosophy in relationship to organization. But ultimately, they're GBC, if you want to know what GBC is, ultimate managing authority. So if you're trying to work out some managerial concern in the temple area, and there's some conflict, there's some disagreement, and it's not going anywhere, so you go to your, you can go to the local authorities who are there, and if they can't handle it, then they can go to the representative of the GBC in that area. And if he can't handle it, then it becomes an issue for the GBC body. So that's how it works. It's more managerial. Something just like you have a court system, one level, another level. When the Supreme Court gives the decision, then there's no further discussion. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. Go ahead and ask your question.
Yes, Gurman, thank you. So here it is said the Gaudiya Math is identical with the founder Acharya. All of them are limbs of himself. None of them claim to be anything but a fully subordinate limb of the founder Acharya. But even though I may claim that I'm simply following Prabhupada and I may make that claim, but I'm not really following Prabhupada, I'm deviating, and I still am claiming I'm following Prabhupada. How is that to be understood when I'm
Well, it's obvious.
and claiming I'm following?
Yeah. Following means following in terms of what is the principles that are being laid down. If you're representing those, but you might be changing them in terms of time, place, and circumstance, you're still following. But if you're actually deviating, just like it says, okay, I don't know if I should use this example. I won't. It's too graphic. Hare Krishna. What would be an example? Okay, it says no intoxication. So, and just people are talking now about tea that has, were we talking about yesterday? What was that tea?
Decaffeinated.
Decaffeinated tea. So what is it? What is that? I don't know anything about it, so. But obviously, it's kind of like stretching the principle. And, you know, you can somehow or other sound like you're there, but you're not there. So if we read Prabhupada's books, hear his lectures, and when there's some question, ask and get a clarification. Our society is like a family where we get whatever knowledge we need from our uncles, our fathers, our brothers and sisters. If we try to figure out everything ourselves, then we're going into an area where we may be wrong, So if someone is deviating, that means they're not following. Therefore, they're cutting themselves off from the mercy. The mercy is the principles of devotional service. When you're engaged in devotional service, you're getting mercy. It's not a separate package. It's actually there in the form of service. That's mercy. The opportunity to serve. The opportunity to associate with devotees. The opportunity to take part in the practice in different ways. That's the mercy. But there is special mercy. That's another thing. But when we deviate from the basic principles, then we're cutting ourselves off from the mercy. And the activities is more like, it's a hand, but it's not connected to the body anymore. Therefore, it can't do any benefit for the body. That's, Does that help? Yes, Raj? Mm-hmm. Then Amri, you can.
Very much. I have a question around the process that you described about we hear, we ask questions, we understand, and then we apply. But I have a difficulty in this, in that so many times I hear, whether it's hearing from the guru or either type of guru or hearing via reading, in that the words make sense. The words sound simple enough, but there can't be real understanding.
Give me an example. All right, so we hear we are different from the body. It's not like we are partially different or 95% different. We're 100% different. So when the soul can no longer stay in the body, it'll go somewhere else and the body is finished. So we are not this body, to put it in very simplified terms. So then you get hurt and your body is in pain and you're feeling the pain, but you should also be thinking, it's not me that's feeling the pain, it's the body. So you get some understanding of, wow, what's happening to me, but it's not happening to me, it's happening to my body. I might be undergoing some difficulty because of my connection with the body, but still, it's not me. And that gives you a little bit of a lot of an understanding of how to get through situations which appear to be difficult if we have a bodily conception of life as opposed to not having a bodily conception. Mm-hmm. That's an example.
How do we get that understanding at that deeper level?
Well, getting to the understanding means to learn to practice the principles that we are been given. The practice helps us to get to the understanding. Just like, for instance, bhakti is divided into two categories, Vaidhi Bhakti or Raganuga Bhakti. So Vaidhi Bhakti is rules and regulations. So you're serving the Lord according to the rules and regulations. Now, when that becomes mature in your execution of devotional service, in that development of maturity, you're becoming more and more attracted to Krishna. And Krishna is no longer just a principle of worship, he's actually becoming your object of affection. And as that develops, then it turns into what is called spontaneous attraction. And then we're attracted to Krishna and to the process of serving Krishna in a natural way, just like if you're sick and you can't eat. So eating is natural, but because you're sick, you may have to, restrict your eating or stop eating for a while until you get over the ailment. But eating is normal. So to love Krishna is natural. So when you get back at a certain level of practice, that becomes spontaneous. You're attracted, when you see a picture of Krishna, you cry, or you feel your heart just swelling up with emotion. And you think, oh, Krishna is so wonderful. So these are symptoms of the development of our bhakti. It's no longer, well, I got to do this, I got to go here, I got to do this. Yeah, Guru said this. My temple president said this. I don't like it, but I have to do it because I'm a very obedient person. That's there, but if we don't get beyond that stage, then we will miss actually the goal of bhakti, which is to develop love for Krishna, which is natural. Rules and regulations are ways to get you within the context of the activities of bhakti so it moves you in the right direction. They're necessary. But at one point, when affection is there, then the rules and regulations take a backseat. Affection and attraction becomes the motivation, and it's no more just a matter of duty. It's actually natural. So keep practicing the rules and regulations, and when you get to that process of when you'll start feeling naturally attracted to Krishna, and not simply that he's just somebody I have to worship.
Thank you, Maharaj. Is it possible to trick the mind into believing that you're not the body?
Yeah, the mind's a rascal. Whatever you can do to control that rascal, beat it, trick it, promise it something and don't give it to him. If you allow me to chant the rounds today, my dear mind, I'll give you a nice piece of chocolate cake. And the mind says, oh, all right, yeah, now you're my friend. But then when it comes to, when the mind says, all right, where's my chocolate cake? You said, oh, I think somebody took it. Sorry, I can't give it. Yeah, tricking the mind is tricking a rascal, and therefore you have to do that in order to control a rascal sometimes. The mind is simply the problem, that's all. Not somebody else's mind. That's their problem. Yeah, the mind will opt for immediate gratification. The intelligence will opt for long-range benefit. So use the intelligence and connect the intelligence to Guru and Shastra. Yeah. Okay. Oh yeah.
You talked about GVC. That GVC is the managing committee.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Governing Body Commissioner. That's what it stands for.
So my question is, when there are details to be changed, so who is the authority, the gurus or
the local GBC, the one who is managing that section of the local that would have to be under the local GBC, which is the GBC also. Okay. Okay, so someone can read?
Read. The founder Acharyas and their prehistorical teachers.
Okay, so what's this?
Lord Shiva.
So he is in Rudra Sampradaya, and this is the founder Acharya here. Okay, the four founder Acharyas, the four Sampradayas. This, this is called it's called Suddha Dvaita, pure monism. And
Four Kumaras. Srinivardhana. Dvaita.
Dvaita means dualism and monism together.
Lord Goddess Lakshmi. Sri Ramanuja. Vashishta Dvaita.
I'm not so much understanding Vishishta Dvaita, but the quality of that philosophy or characteristic is that they have a different understanding of the jiva than we do. The actual role of the jiva, or what is the actual nature of the jiva. And that's the Vishishta Dvaita. And here the last one is?
Lord Brahma, Sri Madhava, Dvaita.
That's us. We follow in the footsteps of Sri Madhvacharya, and then to add to that sampradaya we have Lord Chaitanya. Okay. So our founder Acharya, as far as the sampradaya is concerned, is Lord Brahma. Like that. Or Madhava is prominent within that sampradaya. Okay, that's just a little bit of general information.
Marge, Dimple has a question.
Thank you. Just on this slide, where would a devotee end up if they were following, say, the Sri Nimbarka and the four Kumaras, and likewise for Lord Shiva, Goddess Lakshmi?
What are the goals of these different sampradayas? Well, for Nimbarka and the four Kumaras, they worship Krishna in Vrindavan. They are in the mood of the gopis in Radharani. Ramanuja and Goddess Lakshmi is Aishwarya Bhav, Vaikuntha. They worship Lord Narayan, or mostly Sitaram, Lakshman, Hanuman. And their goal is Vaikuntha. Although they accept Krishna also. And Lord Shiva in his Rudra Sampradaya, Vishnu Swami, pure monism, I'm not sure what is their goal, actually.
Vatsalya Bhav. Vatsalya Bhav. Parental. Parental.
She's saying parental.
Parental?
They worship the Lord in the baby form. Pushtima.
Oh, this is the
Vallabhacharya.
Vallabhacharya. He's connected with Vishnu Swami.
Yeah.
Oh, Balakrishna. Yeah, Vantekeshwara. In Tirupati, right? Vantekeshwara. Balakrishna, yeah.
Venkateshwara.
So that's Vrindavan also. But we worship Kishore Krishna. Prabhupada made that clear. Our level of worship is Kishore Krishna. And we also include Balakrishna. We just had Damodar. And we also, Krishna in all his leelas, in his other ages, the Paganda age, such as when he lifted Govardhan Hill, he was in the Paganda age. But our deities are Radha and Krishna in the mood of, Vrindavan, which is Krishna and Radharani grown up. Radharani is 14 years and so many months. Krishna's 15 years old and 10 months, I think, something like that. That's as oldest they get. So beautiful. And that age is the most attractive age in terms of beauty. Yeah, like that.
So when it comes to preaching, the devotees will all end up in the spiritual world.
Yeah,
So,
outside of the four sampradayas, there's no bona fide process.
So we don't necessarily have to share about Krishna consciousns to those following Goddess Lakshmi, because they have so much faith, devotion to Goddess
Right,
Lakshmi.
yeah, they're fine. We don't, yeah, they're, as long as they're following their teachers, they're in what is called an authorized line. They all have their own disciplic successions also. Just like we went and we met the head of Ramanuja Sampradaya, and the present Acharya when we were there. And he was like, I don't know, no, he was 80-some years old, and he was number something, I can't remember what number he was in the line. But they have their Acharyas like that.
Maharaj, we hear that Lord Chaitanya took something from each of the four sampradayas.
Yeah.
So how is it that we still say that we're from Brahma, Madhva, Gaudiya Sampradaya?
Because Lord Chaitanya is our foundational Acharya, as it was mentioned in the previous. We follow the six Goswamis who are disciples of Lord Chaitanya. Their teachings is the foundation by which we practice. So yeah, but he took certain principles and incorporated it into his teachings also. He expanded the teachings. He took 2 principles from each one. I don't remember all of the different principles, but I know from Ramanujacharya he took service to the Vaishnavas and bhakti over jnana and karma. Like that. From Madhva, he took from the Madhvacharya. Madhvacharya is worship of the deity and the complete refutation of Mayavad philosophy. So Lord Chaitanya took those 2 principles from Madhva. From Nigbarka, I think he took the mood of Vrindavan and the worship of the gopis as being the highest expression of bhakti. So Lord Chaitanya, there's 8 principles he adopted from these 4 sampradayas and added it. But he came into the Madhva Sampradaya, so that's where we are. We're part of that. Okay. Who's that? Ramanujacharya. Okay. What does those 2 fingers mean?
The soul and super soul.
Dvaita, Advaita. Yeah. Okay. Someone read.
Founder Acharyas provide the core identity and foundational relationship for everyone in their disciplic lines. Srila Ramanujacharya and Srila Madhvacharya are outstanding examples of the preeminent position of the founder Acharya in the Guru Parampara.
Yeah, so because the followers of these two leaders are very much strict in the execution of their following, their sampradaya is strong, even to this day. Very strong. Because they give all of their attention in terms of their practice on the teachings of their founder Acharya. So that's a message, strong message. For us, if we follow Srila Prabhupada, we'll always be in a good position to preach Krishna consciousness and to grow in our own spiritual life. When we deviate from Prabhupada or try to twist Prabhupada's instructions, then we're getting into areas where we'll be not getting the mercy of Krishna through the disciplic succession because we're not following. So we have to strictly follow. Yes.
Good Maharaj.
Strictly following is not a bureaucratic statement of, imprisonment. It's how strictly following means taking the principle and learning how to apply it in your life.
Good Maharaj. Do these sampradayas exist outside of India today?
Say that again?
Do these sampradayas exist outside of India?
Not so much, but there are followers in different countries, especially in Europe. Yeah. You can find spots in different places, yeah. But because Prabhupada preached all over the world, we're everywhere. Madhvas, one of the Madhvites, left India and came to the West, but he was really criticized heavy for that. And they almost ousted him because they have, 18 mats, and there's a mat leader for each of the 18. And every 2 years it's called the parayaya, where they change the leaders of the mats. He was a leader of one of the mats, and he came to the West. I actually met him. He came to New Vrindavan, and he was speaking about Krishna's pastimes. It was nice. Everybody, we were all enjoying his learning from his. But when he got back, he was heavily, and it was a big controversy. Because they say, if you cross the ocean, you become fallen. Prabhupada was also criticized. He crossed the ocean. Prabhupada said, oh, well, I'll accept that designation just to preach. There's a lot of stories behind that, but I don't think we have time for all of them. But anyway, yeah, Prabhupada was willing to take the criticism of preaching to us Malechas, which it's understood as not possible. They're too fallen. Hare Krishna. Once you get westernized, you're ruined.
The two fingers of Mother Acharya says Dvait and Advait.
Yeah.
So he is the one who just promoted the Dvait philosophy. Why is Advait?
Yeah. Yeah, that's from the previous slide, right? Here.
Yeah.
Oops. Here. Dvaita?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's pure monism.
Why did you say it about Dvait?
No, that Pseudo-Dvaita is pure monism. Dvaita is dualism, right?
Is it Achintya
Achintya. That's Lord Chaitanya's principle. He studied all of these and put it all together in Achintya Bheda Bheda Tattva, which is the complete understanding of all of the different Advaitas and Pseudo-Dvaitas and Dvaita-Dvaitas.
Dvaita philosophy means the personal philosophy.
Yeah, it's personal. Yeah. They worship the Supreme Lord as Ram. It's personal. I don't know all of their philosophy in terms of their practice, but it's... We can associate with the Madhvites. They're fine. That we have one major difference with them. And if you bring it up, you'll get into an argument. They don't accept that Leela of Lord Brahma stealing the cows and cowherd boys, calves and cowherd boys from Krishna, and how Krishna bewildered Brahma. They say the leader of the Sampradaya cannot be bewildered. They don't accept it. Prabhupada writes about that also. But we say Krishna can bewilder Even Balaram. If he wants. So that's the little bit of it. So we're there with them in most of it, but that one Leela, we don't talk about it. It's not so important anyway. Okay, so we know who those two personalities are, right? Where's Prabhupada? Where is he? Yeah, Prabhupada. Which Vrindavan? He's in Vrindavan, but there's a special word before there. It's called what? Not New Vrindavan. It's New Vrindavan, yeah. 1972. Okay, so you ready for the questions? Okay, here we go. And we should now be able to, I'm going to sit down for this.
Explain how our disciplic succession is a line of Bhagavata instructors.
Okay, who can answer that one? Explain how our discipline is in the line of Bhagavat instructors. Instructors, yeah. Yes.
Our line is a Shiksha line because we see that the Acharyas who have come in our line, they may have taken Diksha from another Guru, but the person they receive more Shiksha from, that person is taken as the instructing Guru, and the follower follows that personality. So
Right.
we see in case of Madhvacharya, he was initiated by Achyuta Preshaka, but
Yeah,
he received from Vyasadeva.
that's the example, the Achyuta Preksha example. Perfect, thank you. That was, yeah, nice. The example of Achyuta Preksha where he took initiated and sannyas, but his main guru was Vyasadeva. Okay, second question. Who is the organizational seed?
The six Goswamis.
6 Goswamis are the organizational seed. Okay, good. Yeah, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is the philosophical seed, the founder of Acharya. He paved the way for Lord Chaitanya's movement, yeah. What was...
You said it was Rupa Goswami.
Huh?
You said it was Rupa Goswami. Bhaktivinoda Thakur was a literary.
Oh, he's a literary, yeah, I'm sorry, yeah. You're right. The philosophical seed is Srila Rupa Goswami, and what was his work?
Bhakti Rasamrita.
Yeah, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, which we know as nectar devotion. Okay. Cultural seed. You remember there was 3 persons that came into that cultural seed.
Narottam Das Thakur, Rupa Goswami, and Sanatana Goswami.
Yeah, they're the cultural seeds of the founder Acharya principle. Okay. Yeah, the literary seed. So what was that book that he wrote that circulated and went to different universities in the same year that Prabhupada appeared?
Lord Chaitanya, his teaching and precepts.
The teachings and precepts of Lord Chaitanya, yeah. The BRC has just highlighted that book and made a new printing of it. So Bhaktivedanta Research Center in Calcutta. Yeah. Devotees, when they were preaching in universities, they came across one copy of that in a Canadian university called McGill University. They found that book. And they showed it to Prabhupada. Prabhupada was so happy. Yeah. He said, this brought the philosophy of Lord Chaitanya around the world, was that book. But it was interesting, the person who would take the philosophy around the world and the book appeared in the same year. Prabhupada and the book, yeah. So, nothing happens by accident. Okay. Recall how the founder Acharya phrase appeared in the 1930s? Think about that one.
When Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj,
in the Harmonist, when Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj explained that the founder Acharya is not different from the Gaudiya Math.
Right.
That's when that phrase.
Yeah, that was the first written explanation of founder Acharya that was established by Bhaktisiddhanta in the Harmonist. Okay? And I think last question here. Identify the foundational role of the founder Acharya in the Vaishnava Sampradayas.
In all the four? In all the four sampradayas?
Yeah, well, what is the foundational role of the founder Acharya?
To spread the philosophy?
Well, yeah, but they establish, that's the foundational role, they establish that both the philosophy and the practice. So Srila Prabhupada is our founder Acharya of the ISKCON Society, which is an extension of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati's Gaudiya Math. But because the disciplic succession was broken, and then Prabhupada had to restart it all over again, like that. Okay, is that clear? I think that's the last one. Yeah. Okay, that's number 2. Should we go on to the third section? We have 45 minutes.